Hello and welcome to a brand new season of TechGig Code Gladiators 2019, a nationwide quest to identify the best coders from across the country.
This is the world's biggest coding arena, TechGig Code Gladiators 2019. TechGig Code Gladiators started its journey in 2014. In its second year of inception, Code Gladiators marked its name in the Limca Book of Records and went on to become India's largest coding contest. Year on year, TechGig Code Gladiators has been breaking records, and in 2017, with more than 2 lakh registrations, it became the largest programming event in the world, etching its name in the Guinness Book of World Records. The 2019 edition of TechGig Code Gladiators saw an overwhelming response yet again, with more than 2.68 lakh participants. Biggest tech giants associated with Code Gladiators to find the best talent in new age technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, chatbots, and Internet of Things.
Over the years, TechGig as a platform has truly grown from strength to strength, not just in terms of stature, but also in terms of industry significance. So what have been some of the most major milestones in this growth story?
Some of the major milestones for us have been the number of participants, quality of coders, and our reach across the country. Also trying to engage candidates from different companies. So all of these numbers have been our milestone, quality of candidates have been our milestone, and the diversity or the range of problems that we set in our theme rounds or in our coding contest rounds is also superb, and it has expanded quite a bit. So these are all important milestones for us.
Now, Coding Gladiators 2019 is of course designed to celebrate India's coding superstars. But what are the evaluation criteria and how rigorous are these jury rounds?
Oh, these are very rigorous, and in terms of theme rounds, people have to pass through multiple set of tests. For example, they have to first go through a filtration round, then they submit solution to certain problems which are given to them, which are evaluated by the sponsor companies. We also evaluate these problems or the solutions, and post evaluation of these, we call it semi-finale round, and then these people come back to this ground zero where they again are given a different problem domain, and they have to again start working on that. They get approximately 20 hours within which they have to code the solution. So it's fairly tough competition.
How nuanced are these thematic rounds, and how closely do they reflect real-time, real industry problems?
There are two areas that we focus on. One, thematic rounds are fundamentally company sponsored. So industry is very much keen to find solution to certain problem domains, and in a way thematic rounds, or which we call hackathons, these are kind of idea outsourcing kind of work. So where these software developers come back with the solutions or great ideas, and some of these are appreciated by the companies and they would want to continue to work on. There is another use case where a lot of product companies who have their products in market, they would want software professionals to experiment with their product and then come back with what all different ways in which they can use those libraries, their software products, and then that kind of evangelizes how their software product is used. So this also gives us an edge in terms of those companies who want to hire candidates on very difficult to recruit skills, to find one place where they can find so many good candidates who have experience on such complex technologies.
Our understanding is that this platform started with 10,000 coders and now boasts over 2.5 lakh coders. What's next for Coding Gladiators? What's the legacy you'd like for this property and this platform to leave behind?
So aspirationally, we would want to make it 3-4x from where we are today. And industry currently faces a very difficult situation in terms of when they have to hire high quality people in large numbers. Then even the job boards, which are pretty exorbitant in price these days, even they are struggling with that. And so Code Gladiators is one place where you can hire large number of high quality candidates on the most difficult to hire technologies under one roof. So it's a very tempting, I would say, thing to go for.
A 3-day mega coding event that went through 20 hours of hackathon and presentation across 10 theme rounds. This year too, the competition took place in the beautiful Jio campus in Navi Mumbai to find out not just the best coders in India, but also what makes Jio one of the most sought-after technology giants disrupting the telecom industry.
We were able to meet some really amazing people. They came prepared for it. They worked on the problem statements in such a short span of time with innovative solutions. Two key things that come to my mind are the smart scale and quick billing solutions for IoT, which I believe could be taken to the market very quickly. The good part here was that it was not just about coding and presenting a solution. The participants also had a business plan and could also present on how they could make the solutions profitable in the Indian market. So yes, the experience was really good, and the talent pool was indeed something that I look forward to work with in the future.
Right talent and skills is key in order to come up with out-of-the-box solutions, but finding the right talent has always been a big challenge for tech companies, especially with the ever-changing dynamics. Reliance launched Jio in 2016 with free 4G data and voice calls, a move that changed the face of the telecom industry and the way smartphones were being used. Laying immense thrust on tech innovation, Jio will soon be touted as the market leader, especially with the launch of the Jio Fiber. It's the power of technology, innovative solutions, and futuristic thinking that is keeping Jio ahead of the curve.
Raghu, to help kick things off, tell us about Jio's decision to affiliate with the TechGig platform to begin with.
So I will start off with the vision of our chairman, right? So he wanted to basically build an organization which stands out not just in India but the world.
Sure.
Right? And with the current digital push which the government is doing in India, he has taken the onus to be the flag bearer, not just for India but for the world, to become the top tech company which can digitize the world in the most innovative way.
Sure.
Right. In order to do that, you need to basically have the right people, right? So where do you find the right people? So the platform which really helps to get the right people, what we recognized is Code Gladiators. The reason being the number of participants. I think it's caused world records in getting number of people onboarded on that, right? So we thought that would be a great platform to associate with. So we can get the right talent from that, and also prove to the world that what can be done in this digital world through these technologies which you guys bring in.
Absolutely. And moving to you now, Gaurav, what were the takeaways that perhaps took you by surprise from this year's TechGig Code Gladiators 2019?
So we have been sponsoring TechGig for a couple of years, and as Raghu mentioned, we have created records. Last year it was around 1 lakh people who participated. This year around 2.5 lakh people who participated. The enthusiasm was certainly great and contagious. We had in-house people also participating from Jio. The energy which was brought into all RCP ecosystem was great, and I can still feel it. So the positives were the low risk of failures, the ideas, the presentations, and as our founding chairman says, the idea is nobody's monopoly. So it was great to have so much of enthusiasm brought into RCP.
Data is the new oil. So that said, very curious to understand, how does Jio leverage data analytics in the context of maintaining a competitive edge in the marketplace?
That's a good question. So I would like to rephrase that a little bit again based on the way our chairman puts it in one of his speeches, right? He said, data is now the new petrol, right? The reason it's a petrol because it's now refined. So once it's refined, it means you have taken insights out of it, right? So that is the critical part about data. So in order to do basically create a refinery which can refine this oil and create insightful data to make data-driven decisions, we're a huge open source company.
Right.
We are investing huge on open source. We are actually creating a lot of committers in the open source, which again is an unthinkable feat for any organization, at least in a telco, in the IT space, right? So I think, so we are not an IT with that, we are a huge digital organization, and so that's where we are focusing on. With these things, we have actually built platforms as we speak, which has taken us way beyond our competition.
Aside from all of the technical prowess and talent, it was the passion and the sheer enthusiasm that seemed to stand out the most. You know, what do you make of that, and how does that convert into opportunities ultimately?
So the passionate developers built a lot of solutions, and a lot of them have got an opportunity to work along with us. We had hired a couple of them last year, and this year also we offered a lot of them. Apart from just being a sponsor, we look this as a talent acquisition also. A lot of startups were formed, and there is another ecosystem we have, GeoGen Next. They were onboarded on that. So there is a lot which goes around along with Geo. We are just a platform. We are just a platform of 350 million odd users who come on us, but we want everybody and anybody to participate on it. So the developers who come from TechGig, they get to participate on it. They can build their own startups. If they have ideas, they can come and join us. We are the biggest startup of India with so many ideas going around. The passion is great, but we want to again take those passion and bring something out of it. Some ideas should fructify out of it and be part of Geo ecosystem.
But our special feature on TechGig Code Gladiators 2019 continues on the other side. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to our special feature on TechGig Code Gladiators 2019, a nationwide quest to identify the best coders from across the country. And here's a glimpse of how India's biggest coding battleground has grown from strength to strength, attracting the attention of academia and industry alike.
In an era where the focus is on software as a network, coders and programmers become even more vital to any technology business. And for Reliance Jio, the right talent and skills is key to come up with out-of-the-box solutions.
So Jitendra, I'll start with you. Has TechGig Code Gladiators 2019 lived up to expectations in your view?
Yes, TechGig Code Gladiator lived our expectation very much this year. If you see Geo believes in scale and bringing innovative product and services with a better and better customer experience.
Sure.
In this, what we see is the coder who is building this technology are the real stars. The way its participation is increasing, it may happen the next TechGig going to happen in the stadium like a cricket match.
Well, moving on from that thought, tell us about Geo Media Services' contributions specifically and what role they played in shaping the outcome of TechGig Code Gladiators 2019.
So Geo Media Services participated in two types. Like one was as a participant, there as a participant for in TechGig Code Gladiator, and second it was like we were providing us problem statements also. Like once you are providing an accurate problem statement, half of your solutions can be made easily, and if you get a best solution, that can be integrated easily and you can move ahead. So like you can see that in Geo Media Services, there were few of them who are already reached to semi-finalists also. We are hoping that next time we'll be a winners also soon.
Geo, of course, sponsored several thematic rounds at TechGig Code Gladiators 2019. There was a round specifically focused around an artificial intelligence challenge, for example. There was an IoT-focused hackathon. There was also a new commerce session as well. What sort of response did you receive from the participants when they were posed with these challenges?
Yeah, if you see here, the response was great when the people were participating in the upcoming emerging technologies. These are the big opportunity where we combine these technologies together and create a very immersive experience, and it will change the way people interact in the digital world. Okay, nowadays 4G technology is already available in India. People are moving towards the fiber to the home, and 5G is about to come. Nowadays people are really discussing about whether we need to go discuss about live TV or on demand.
Sure.
But there is a big monster is already available if as a form of the VR, AR and mixed reality. This will change completely when the people are consuming the content.
What do you think of the level of talent that emerged and came to the forefront as a result of TechGig Code Gladiators 2019?
So it was a very good experience. Like TechGig Code Gladiator gave us like last year we saw that one of the candidates who won the tournament, or you can say TechGig Code Gladiator, he was hired as well as, and he is a part of Geo Services now.
Right.
So we are looking into such coders or developers who can actually code and give us a best output out of that. If the best developer is writing a code, we can see that your application or your solution is always sturdy, and it goes on for, it has got a life that it can go on ahead and it can be scaled up to what Geo thinks about. Like we are always thinking about scaling up, like Geo TV, Geo Cinema is a huge scale now. Similarly, we are finding good coders or developers who can code properly, and the best coding can be done, and we can find out such talent from Code Gladiators.
The theme challenges really excited Geo, especially the newcomers and the AI theme rounds, in order to get a taste of new ideas and innovations.
Reliance Retail is, of course, among the country's largest retailers, and AGO seems to be quickly following in its footsteps in the digital fashion category in particular. So, very curious to understand what you made of the new commerce-themed challenge at TechGig Code Gladiators 2019.
I think some of the contestants produced quite interesting outputs in TechGig Code Gladiators 2019. Our interest in augmented reality and virtual reality, specifically in the fashion and lifestyle space, and going beyond that, came from the need to give our customers a differentiated experience, a digital experience when shopping online. I don't need to try 10 different pieces of clothing in order for me to figure out what works. I don't need to know how earrings, 10 different pairs of earrings would look on me, right? So the same can be said for lipsticks, the same can be said for how a sofa would look in my home. So all of these, instead of physically being able to try everything before one figures out what would look good on them or in their living space, our thought was to be able to develop or challenge contestants to be able to come up with solutions that will help customers zone in on their preferences quickly. So some of the contestants, I think, I thought really did a really good job in terms of coming up with these ideas in a matter of hours, where our thought was it'll maybe take a month or two to come up with something working. The solutions that we saw were along these lines, and it was pretty heartening to see some of the young kids come up with some things that we thought would take a while to do.
It sounds very cutting edge and yet ultra convenient, if you will. And turning to you for a moment now, Mohsin, I'd love to understand, were there any critical takeaways that emerged as a result of the artificial intelligence themed challenge at TechGig Code Gladiators 2019?
We have been building a lot of solutions which enables our customer to have a better geo experience. Last year, in fact, we have rolled out the world's first video bot platform, and a lot of brands and partners have gone on board, and the response from the general public has been overwhelming. This was one of the reasons that we wanted to have this theme as part of TechGig Code Gladiator 2019. We wanted to see Indian coding community as a whole, how much engaging they are with the AI technologies, and actually the journey has been very satisfying. Some of the ideas we have got as actually absolutely brilliant, and we believe that we can build on top of that and build better geo experience for our customer using some of those ideas.
Sure. And do you think hackathons and codathons like TechGig Code Gladiators 2019 make for a somewhat unconventional yet fruitful hiring pool for new companies that may be seeking out bright young talent?
Absolutely. Even in my days at college, there used to be always a set of people who were non-conventional in the sense that they would just not read up about what is being taught, but would actually actively work on solving real-world problems. To your question, does it help with hiring? Sure, it does. But I think it's a little bit more than that, wherein you get a set of people that are interested in solving technological problems together, and then it starts to also tell the rest of the population in India that their work has platforms on which it can be showcased and that their work is actually being valued by many, many companies.
Bringing best coding minds of country on one platform and seeing them engage with each other, sharing ideas and competing for the title, actually I think it helps community to grow as a whole. And then it also inspires young coders to also take up coding, and that actually is a good thing for India.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, and we wish you continued success.
Thank you.
The journey of TechGig Code Gladiators is surely an exciting one, filled with nerve-wracking situations and problem tests giving coders a high-voltage hackathon.
TechGig Code Gladiators 2019 is, of course, the 6th edition of this contest. So what's new in store this year as compared to previous editions?
We have always tried to innovate, and this year as well we have innovated some aspects, though the main key concept remains the same, that we have to find the best coders over here. Some of the innovations are the kind of questions that are being asked. In the open round, we are asking 4 questions rather than the 2 questions. Apart from that, we have also focused a little more on the developer evangelism piece, which is where candidates are able to experience certain products that would be useful for the customers, and also learn about those products. So they get enriched in terms of knowledge of the latest products that are there in the market. For example, Alexa, UiPath, Hair. So all these are product companies who are bringing their product, allowing the developers to experience that, and also coaching them on building solutions around their product.
TechGig Code Gladiators 2019 is supported by an ecosystem of partners. What does that say about the industry's level of interest and involvement in this year's competition?
So every year the partners are growing. We are getting partners who are searching for the best talent, and as they come across this TechGig Code Gladiator, they realize that this could be one of the channels through which they can find the best talent. And this year again we have partners who had come last year, plus we have additional partners.
Sure.
So every year I am seeing that the partners who had believed in us are finding talent or the ROI that they were coming for. I would say that the partners' involvement is great. Partners are finding value out of this event, and they are finding this platform to be one of the best places where they can fill their gap of the good talent that they are looking for, good coders that they are looking for.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. We wish you continued success.
Thanks. It's a pleasure.
Well, that brings this episode of TechGig Code Gladiators 2019 to a close. I'm Pooja Jain, signing off from Jio's corporate headquarters in Navi Mumbai. We'll see you next week.